Grant's stormwater drain keeps overflowing, flooding his house. He's had a gutful and gets nowhere when he complains to council.
Council, this is draining. Can you fix our stormwater system, please?
Grant's got a few gripes, and they all flow from the flooding that forms around this council-owned stormwater drain in his backyard in Melbourne's city of Frankston.
So Grant, this is the stormwater drain that's causing all the problems?
Yeah, when it pops during a rainstorm, it produces its own little fountain, and sometimes I don't know whether I'm in Frankston or Florence.
Florence sounds quite nice, but I gather this situation is no holiday.
That is absolutely no holiday, no Jetstar points in this baby.
It's not quite Venice either, but Grant says the drain isn't coping, and when it rains, water builds up outside before flooding his unit. The kitchen cat bowl, no match for the rising tide.
To give you an example, easily from here to there, not a problem. There's so much water.
And what happens to the cat?
He either does backstroke or he leaves home.
Grant and his wife Margaret have lived here for more than 2 decades, but they say the drain pains started 2 years ago. Since then, there's been a wave of flash flooding.
I remember sloshing around in my sneakers and getting very, very wet socks that particular day.
3 flood events in 3 months have forced the couple to rip up the carpets and replace them with rubber mats. Towels and mops at the ready in case the rains arrive again, and there's some DIY doorstops to keep the water out.
Grant's theory is that the flood situation has been made worse by the changing face of his street, with more development and townhouses, increasing density and putting greater pressure on the stormwater system.
As the drain is a council asset, Grant's taken his case to City Hall, but he's yet to hear if there's any plans to upgrade the system.
There's clearly, if you're a resident here, as we have been for 22 years, there is clearly a problem that's getting worse.
Do you feel like you're being listened to?
No, I'm not being listened to, and no, I'm not getting any help, and I would really appreciate some help.
An animal lover, Grant runs a vet business, specialising in birds.
Budge, what are we going to do about it? We're going to get you some gumboots?
But repairing his water-damaged home has seen Grant dip into his savings.
Every cost goes up, and that's particularly so we notice that in small business. In order to actually complete some of the major works in our house here, like we've had to dive into our superannuation funding, for example, and so we're trying to save, but that's not easy either.
And when it rains, it pours. The drain drama taking a turn after Grant began wading through his insurance policy, worried frequent floods might affect his coverage. Boggled by the 116-page document, Grant raised the issue himself with his insurer.
AAMI decided that the policy could no longer operate and they cancelled it immediately.
It's not a great situation, but with rising costs and future floods to prepare for, Grant's decided
insurance premiums are so high, I would prefer to spend the money on a water pump to keep me dry.
not to be sandbagged by obstacles. Grant's focused on flood-proofing his home, while hoping to ruffle some feathers and have his case heard.
Are you going to say anything? Are you going to make more sense than a product disclosure statement is?
And guess what? Council's now promised to repair that drain.